Hello and welcome to the Caregiver Question of the Week. I'm Amelia Borland, occupational therapist and owner and founder of Higher Standards Caregiver Training. And today's question has to do with swallowing and Parkinson's disease. Real quick, before we get started, please keep in mind this is for educational purposes only. It's not a substitute for health or medical advice, and it's not a substitute for a therapeutic relationship. So if anything I say makes you think that someone needs to see a licensed healthcare provider, please make sure you're advocating for that person to see that provider. Okay, so really simple question this week. Can people with Parkinson's disease develop problems with swallowing? And the big fat answer in red is yes. Yes, and in fact, it is incredibly common for people with Parkinson's disease to develop problems with their swallowing, as well as problems with the muscles in their mouth, the muscles that control their oral motor skills. Okay, and honestly, very common to develop issues in both of those areas. And why is this a problem? Well, there's a couple of really big reasons. One is that if someone is having trouble eating, then they're not getting adequate nutrition. They can lose weight, and obviously you can see why that becomes a big problem. The second one, though, is not second important. It's a really, really big deal. And the reason is that if people are having problems controlling the food or liquid in their mouth or having problems with their swallow, that means that they are at a high risk of what's called aspiration. And aspiration is when anything that is not supposed to go down into the lungs goes down into the lungs. And that's pretty much anything except like air, right? So if you're caring for someone with Parkinson's disease and you think they're having problems with swallowing, maybe it's taking them a really long time to eat. Maybe they're coughing while they're eating or afterwards. Maybe they sound kind of wet or gurgly. Maybe they're clearing their throat a lot. Whatever it is, if there's any reason that you're suspecting that someone that you're caring for with Parkinson's disease is having problems managing the food in their mouth or swallowing, that is absolutely a big deal. And we want to let the healthcare provider for that know right away. Okay. Specifically, a lot of times the healthcare provider that's going to be addressing that is a speech therapist. So if you go to the doctor, you say these things and you're not kind of sure what to ask for, asking for an evaluation from a speech therapist can be a great thing to do. In some places, occupational therapists still cover things like swallowing and oral motor skills, but a lot of times, most of the time now, that's covered by speech therapy, also known as speech language pathologists. And they are an amazing group of healthcare providers and professionals. And I will just say super underappreciated. Thank you, speech. I love you. Anyway, so again, if you are seeing anything that makes you think that the person you're caring for with Parkinson's disease is having a swallowing problem, it is super important to let that healthcare team know ASAP, because it's kind of a big deal. And it happens, and it can happen all the time. Okay, if you have a question for the Caregiver Question of the Week, please don't be shy about submitting it. You can leave it in a comment, or you can submit it totally anonymously using the Caregiver Question of the Week form. I am here and ready and available to answer anything that I can. If you give me a question and I can't answer it, I will track down the person who hopefully can help me answer it for you and get them on for the Caregiver Question of the Week. So don't be shy. All right. Until next week, y'all, please be healthy, be well, and most of all, take care. Bye.